2020 budget was handled by the previous finance minister and was sent on to the CFT and the Council of Advice. The completion of the 2020 budget is high on the list of priorities for this government, and therefore it's this government's intention to pick up where the previous government left off to avoid any further delays. Obviously, we have to also still present this budget to the members of parliament. However, the CFT and the Council of Advice have raised a number of concerns pertaining to this budget, which this government will have to address immediately. As I speak, the Finance Department is in the process of addressing these concerns raised by the CFT and the Council of Advice, in the view of a number of steps to be taken to finalize the 2020 budget. In all honesty, we visualize the completion to run into the first quarter of 2020. A Council of Ministers meeting is scheduled for this afternoon, in which the Finance Department will be presenting a presentation on the budget and the current state. That's the budget. As Minister of Finance, I'm also privy to a lot of data from other ministries, and what I've personally realized is that in government, we need to measure more. I'm a believer and a fan of measuring. I believe that what gets measured, gets managed, gets done. I see within government that we lack a lot of KPIs, key performance indicators. And I would like to take an example of USM, for example, in terms of vision. A vision, in my opinion, is supposed to be measurable. Every vision is supposed to be measurable. USM has a good example of this. The vision of USM is that, I'll paraphrase a little bit, that each household in St. Martin should have an associate degree. That's their vision. Their vision is that every household in St. Martin through USM should have, at the very least, at the very minimum, an associate degree in the household. Why is this important? That is a vision that we can measure. We could now say, in 2010, how many households we had with an associate degree, in 2020, in 2030. We can track. I believe in government, we lack visions. I had to sit down with the minister of, not minister, I had to sit down with the SG of the Ministry of ECOIS and the controller, and we discussed this. I do appreciate the fact, though, that we did have a vision in the ministry. And during our discussion, the SG also realized, hey, minister, this vision isn't measurable. I believe, and we will have further discussions on this, that we need a vision in every ministry that leads to then an overall vision for the whole government, which in my opinion will be along the lines of a better life for the country, St. Martin. This vision for the Ministry of Education will come through the ministry. So it's not the vision of, it's not my vision, it's not a vision of the SG, it's a vision that has to be created from within the organization. Every person within the organization should know what this vision is. That then empowers the employees, empowers us as civil servants to know our purpose, why we are doing this, why we come to work every day. Yesterday also, I personally have put on the agenda for the next Council of Ministers meeting the evaluations of SGs. And it's not because we think that SGs are doing a bad job, but it's just the fact that at the end of the day, I, as a minister, I am accountable to the members of parliament and to the people of St. Martin, of course. Members of parliament are accountable to the people of St. Martin. Department heads are accountable to the SGs and so forth. But if you look along the lines of the last 10 years since we became country status, there's one group that doesn't really, they're not really held accountable. And I thought it was very important that they are held accountable. And in my opinion, a feedback system is also necessary. So not just that we evaluate them, but the employees under them give feedback. Not evaluate, but give feedback. I believe feedback also gives growth. You know, if someone criticizes me, through this criticism, I could also grow. In my opinion, the SG asks their employees, their department heads, how can I help you, help me, help the ministry? So this is a high priority for me, and I believe the Council of Ministers. So on our next Council of Ministers meeting, that will be a key topic. I also have an update from the Ministry of Education. this weekend, Sunday, December 1st, 2019, will be our annual Thanksgiving service. The theme this year will be, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good." It is a collaboration between the government, the St. Martin Christian Council, the St. Martin United Ministerial Foundation, the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and yes, that is it. So again, I would like to remind the public, this Sunday, December 1st, 2019, the praise and worship starts at 4:30 p.m., and the service starts at 5 p.m.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
few announcements. As we noticed, the traffic lights are now back in function. What's happening right now, we're monitoring the timing of the traffic lights and then making the assessments and making the necessary adjustments as need be. So the timing might switch by a few seconds from one lane to the next, depending how this week goes. Next, also, the ministry is in collaboration with NVGEB to do assessments on the various street lights that are still off in the various districts. So we will hope to have those back up and running in most of the districts before December, before the holiday season. Lastly, for the Ministry of Romy, the cleanup campaign is still very active, and we are ready to launch on Saturday, October 30th, from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Government Administration Building in Room 1. The public is welcome to come, as we will be revealing the winning slogan. We'll also have the logo and the jingle that will November 30th, not October, November. As we are aware, the Minister of Justice is currently off island and would hereby like to inform the political parties contesting in the upcoming parliamentary elections on January 9th, 2020, that there are already laws in place which regulates public manifestations like political party gatherings and the use of billboards and banners in public space. Taking into consideration, amongst others, public order and safety. The Minister of Justice is, however, willing to set up certain guidelines for the political parties which are contesting and on how he will make use of his authorities and powers pursuant to inter alia, the General Police Ordinance and the National Ordinance on Public Manifestations. This will be done in the form of a policy paper and will be made public and also distributed amongst the political parties contesting.
Last week, during the press briefing, I guess in my angst, I neglected to thank the several persons that were giving their outpouring of love and appreciation, and for the fact that they are so happy to see me serving in this ministerial capacity. And I want to thank those people publicly for their outpouring. I also wanted to give a little bit of a background on who I am. I started off in the meteorological services, which is one of the things that falls under the Ministry of TIAT. From meteorological services, I proceeded to work in the Air Traffic Services Department. So I am an air traffic controller by profession. And so two things that fall under the ministry are capacities in which I have served, and I am happy to be here and to help in any capacity that I can. On that note, on Wednesday, November 20th, I made a visit to the port of St. Martin where I boarded the Norwegian Bliss, which was making its inaugural call here in St. Martin. The Norwegian Bliss was commissioned in 2018. The vessel can hold 4,000 plus passengers, and it was their inaugural visit. They will be back in 2020 on the 25th of January for their second call. Additionally, I was contacted by Mr. Schaper, who informed me that the SXM cable, which is the Sabre Statia Communication Systems cable, which has landed here in Great Bay, had been damaged by a vessel and was in desperate need of repair. So the ministry signed off for the vessel to sail from Curacao to come to St. Martin for the repairs to start within the coming weeks. Had this cable not been repaired, significant telecommunications outages here in St. Martin and in Sabre and Statia may have been possible within the next week, next 2 weeks. However, it is going to be worked on in the coming week. The vessel should be here by Friday, and Monday, I believe, the work should commence. On the 25th of November, as promised before about the visits to the departments, that happened. We made use of the opportunity to visit the department heads meeting with SG DeWeaver. We dropped in and made a courtesy call to all of the department heads, and familiarization with them will happen in the not too distant future by the ministry. Since we've been sworn in last week, we have been in meeting after meeting after meeting. And as such, we were updated and briefed by the various relevant entities. The airport was a 4-day meeting session, the harbor, and Telem was yesterday. And subsequent departments will be following and having meetings with the Council of Ministers in the not too distant future. Just this morning, I requested from my cabinet to please get a copy of the process manual for aviation and the process manual for maritime on my desk as soon as practicable. The issue of the process manual is from the SOAB, and it was commissioned in May of this year. In the 17 processes for aviation and the 11 processes for maritime, it is focusing on the issuance of certificates, permits, licenses, and performing inspections. And one in particular that is closest to my heart, and for those of you that have been trolling since 2016, you will know that the registration of crafts and vessels, so aviation, aircraft, and maritime vessels has been near and dear to my heart. And as such, government can generate, or the departments can generate revenue from these particular processes. And so it is something that I would definitely like to see implemented in this cash-strapped economy that we are in. When I was first consulted for a ministerial function, some of you may know, your fellow colleague, Mr. Dick, broke the news, even though I was trying to keep it under wraps. I was consulted to function in the capacity of the Minister of Plenipotentiary. As such, you may be aware that the incoming ministers, so the Minister for TIAT and VSA, will be coming in this week. And as such, this will be my last press briefing as Minister of TIAT with you.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
is a known fact, the affair of Miss Arundel, that she has a pension of 900 guilders. However, even though the argument that that it were our own parliamentarian, the Netherlands Antilles, and the ones of St. Martin who have established the maximum old age pension to be lowered than the one in the Netherlands. The question remains, why did the governor, as a representative of the kingdom government, did not present the law to be annulled by the kingdom government, because the maxima were not equal to the ones in the Netherlands? This is the governor and the kingdom government had to do because the International Covenant of Economic, Social and Cultural Rights was ratified for the kingdom since 1979. Article 2 on the covenant stipulates that the covenant has to be exercised without discrimination of any kind as to race, color, sex, language, religion, political affiliation or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. The geopolitical constitutional difference, therefore, cannot be legitimize the discrimination of the seniors' pension in the state of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. As Anti-Poverty Platform, we will request all political parties who will contest the snap election of January 9, 2020 to commit to the eradication of poverty and the realization of equality. The St. Martin Christian Party is the only party which thus far has signed the Declaration on the Eradication of Poverty and has already committed to eradicate the poverty. As a result of the signed declaration in their negotiation with the United Democrats, the governing program had the following, as we quote: to address substandard living conditions and provide the necessary help to those who need it most. We will ensure that there is a precise definition of what our poverty line is and establish data to help us determine who falls below the line and who we can get best to contribute to improving their living conditions. It is crucial to reduce poverty, but there is also need to eradicate inequality. To undertake this last, we will enlist the support of the entire community. Various ministries in government program under the heading Eradication of Poverty and Inequality had some strategic objectives and tasks with the necessary financing allocated in the budget. What is the interim government going to do with this governing program? What will the new government coalition, which will be formed after January elections, do? We will insist with all government coalition to prioritize the eradication of poverty. Parliamentarians, we will demand to provide the necessary meat in the budget of 2020 and that the people can be kept out of poverty. We will also insist that all parliamentarians to eradicate the inequality in the Kingdom of the Netherlands and provide us with equal social pensions, social allowances, minimum wage, etc. In short, with an equal social protection flow within the state of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. As the United Nations and the International Labour Organization has established.
I sit here before you humble with the task before me, grateful for this opportunity. And firstly, I'd like to thank those who have entrusted their votes to give me the opportunity to be here, and to also say thank you to my party, the National Alliance. I thank my faction members for their outstanding representation in Parliament, and I wish them the best of luck in their new portfolio positions as ministers. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to take this opportunity here just to express that we recognize that we are currently in a crisis in our country, and I am humbled to be in a position that I'm in at this moment to work with my fellow parliamentarians and the government of St. Martin to bring about a positive change for St. Martin. In a few weeks, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to present to you as well as to members of Parliament with a proposal for a permanent District Community Council Committee to be considered to be permanently established here in Parliament for the sole purpose of bridging the gap that the people of St. Martin feels, that disconnection between the government and the Parliament of St. Martin. Many persons feel as though it is a matter of once the elections are over, it is very difficult to have communication with our elected officials and those appointed. And I am seeking for Parliament to be able to establish a permanent committee within that leaders, district leaders within our communities feel welcome to come into Parliament and bring the issues of our people. I know that we meant to keep this meeting pretty short, so I won't go further, but I just want to say thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to working with my fellow parliamentarians in this capacity. Thank you.